we are going to talk about Unit 1 in English World, Heat in the Earth. We are going to talk about an island in the Pacific Ocean called Iceland. This is an island. Island means an area of Earth surrounded with water from everywhere. So, this is an island in the Pacific Ocean called Iceland. We will talk about a boy called Andy. Andy was on a journey with his father to visit Iceland, the land of fire and ice. So we know that Iceland is a place called the land of fire and ice, and we will know later why this place called by this. ليه سموا Iceland as a land of fire and ice? This is what we are going to know from our lesson today. First of all, our lesson will be like a diary. Diary. You know this word? Diary. Diary means a note where you write down everything happened with you in your day. Again, note where you write down everything happened with you in your day. عبارة عن نوت صغيرة انت بتكتب فيها يومياتك او مفكرتك الشخصية اللي بتكتب فيها الحاجات اللي بتحصل معاك في اليوم. خلي بالك فرق بينها وبين كلمة تانية. الكلمة التانية دي بنقول عليها اسمها diary. بنغير مكان ال A وال I. Dairy. Dairy means factory for producing products related to milk. مصنع ألبان بينتج حاجات ليها علاقة باللبن. لكن احنا بنتكلم عن dairy note where you write down your day's event. So, first of all, Andy talked about Sunday, June 19th. Sunday, June 19th. Andy said, Dad and I have just arrived in Iceland. And we know that when we talk about cities or countries or big places, I will say arrived in. لما بتكلم عن مدينة أو بتكلم عن دولة بقول عليها arrived in. But when I talk about a place inside the city, I will say arrived at. For example, you say arrived at school. I arrived at school at 7 o'clock. But when you are coming from outside, you can say, from outside Egypt, I will say I arrived in Egypt or I arrived in the airport of Egypt at, and you will say the time when you arrived in. So, and here said Dad and I have just arrived in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. I'm really looking forward to this holiday. Underline with me, looking forward to. Looking forward to followed with either noun or gerund. بيجي بعد expression looking forward to بيجي بعديه إما noun اسم أو gerund verb at ing. You can say I'm really looking forward to this holiday or I'm really looking forward to visiting Iceland. You can say this. Then the boy said, I'm going to write down in this diary. I'm looking to write down in this diary. Then he said, when we were flying over the island, make a spot on S, silent letter, island. When we were flying over the island, we could see the volcanoes and glaciers. We could see the volcanoes and glaciers. None of the volcanoes was erupting. ما كانش فيه أي حاجة من البراكين دي ثائر في الوقت ده. None of the volcanoes was erupting. Make a circle in none and was. You remember when we talked in primary 4 about compound nouns followed with singular, like everyone, everything followed with singular, nothing or no one or nobody followed with singular. This is the same. None of the volcanoes was erupting. I'd like to see an eruption. It would be thrilling. This is an adjective. It would be thrilling, exciting, adventurous. But active volcanoes are dangerous. It's safer when they are quiet. Tomorrow we are going to Hekla. By the way, this is a name of a really active volcano in Iceland. ده اسم البركان حقيقي موجود في أيسلندا. Hekla. You can look and search for it in YouTube and you'll find it. Tomorrow we are going to Hekla. It's an active volcano, but it hasn't erupted for several years. يعني هو بركان نشط لكن بقاله سنين لم يثور. Second day with us will be Monday, June 20th. Second day will be Monday, June 20th. Today we climbed to the top of Hekla. We didn't go into the crater, and we know crater means a central of the volcano. This is the crater of the volcano. There was snow on the ground, but in some places the rocks were warm. بيقول لنا انه في جليد في اماكن على الارض، لكن في اماكن تانية الصخور اللي فيها warm دافية. And this you could know why we talking about Iceland as the land of fire and ice. There is volcanoes, very hot places, and glaciers, ice rivers, and in the same place you can find the snow and warm rocks. The snow was melting and the rocks were steaming. في أماكن الجليد فيها بيسيح melting, you know it from science, and the rocks were steaming مدخنة أو بتطلع دخان. Our guide picked up a small rock and told us about it. الجايد اللي معانا أو المرشد اللي معانا picked up, underline with me, picked up a small rock, صخرة صغيرة, and told us about it. When the volcano erupts, the rock from deep under the ground comes out of the volcano. The rock is so hot that it is liquid. We talked last year about so that. So followed with adjective and that. سخنة جدا لدرجة ان هي بتسيح. The rock is so hot that it's liquid لدرجة ان هي بتبقى سائل. It runs down the sides of the volcano like that or like that. So he said, with your pen with me, it runs down the sides of the volcano, then it cools and goes hard. يعني بتكون طالعة من جوه البركان hot liquid rocks اللي احنا قلنا عليها لافا، بتبقى طالعة سخنة جدا وفي الحالة السائلة للمادة، يعني بتبقى زي السائل. الصخور دي لما بتنزل على الجوانب بيقول لنا بتبرد وبتبدأ تعمل الكول لافا اللي هي بتبدأ تتكون صخور تانية اللي هو هنا بيقول لنا عليها then it cools and goes hard. cools بتبرد، goes hard يعني بترجع تاني صلب، بترجع تاني للحالة الصلبة. it's called lava وده اللي احنا بنقول عليه lava. it's not smooth at all. it's not smooth at all مش بتبقى ناعمة. it feels very rough and a bit sharp. بتبقى صلبة جدا وأحيانا بتكون حادة. خلي بالنا من المعلومة دي. it's not smooth at all. not smooth at all. it feels very rough and a bit sharp. وأحيانا بتكون حادة. you can easily cut yourself on it. بسهولة ممكن تعور نفسك فيها. cut yourself مش معناها تقطع نفسك. cut yourself is an expression معناها تعور نفسك لو اتخبطت فيها أو لو اتعرضت ليها. our guide's name is Ari. ده اسم الجايد اللي معاهم اللي مع أندي وبابا. in the hotel this evening he drew a diagram of Hekla. this is a diagram what Ari drew. I'm sorry. this is a diagram what Ari drew for them. So in the hotel this evening he drew a diagram of what Hekla looks like inside. رسم لنا diagram لشكل هيكلا من جوه. what it looks like inside. diagram اللي هو الرسم التخطيطي أو التوضيحي. Now I understand why the ground was hot. There's liquid rocks down there now. أنا فهمت من الرسم بتاعه ليه الأرض تحتينا كانت سخنة، لأنه ببساطة تحتيها في صخور منصهرة. ده منظر حقيقي لبركان هيكلا أثناء ما كان ثائر. Ari showed us pictures of Hekla erupting. He let me keep this one. ورانا صور للثورة بتاعة بركان هيكلا وخلاني أحتفظ بدية. He's very nice. He's a student at the moment but he's going to be a geologist. حاليا هو طالب لكن هيتخرج علشان يبقى geologist. Person knows about earth and rocks. Geologist اللي هو عالم الجيولوجيا اللي بيتعامل مع الصخور ومع الحاجات اللي ليها علاقة بالأرض. He knows a lot about rocks and everything about the volcanoes in Iceland. عارف حاجات كتير عن الروكس وعن الفولكانوز الموجودة في Iceland. So here we finished the second day. We talked about Sunday, the arrival day, and the second day when we visit or when our friend visit volcano Hekla. I encourage you to go to the YouTube and search for Hekla and see information about it, and you can write this information for me again. Let's talk about the third day in our journey. Tuesday, June 21st. Today we saw a geyser. You remember the word geyser? We saw this picture about geysers. We saw geyser mean a kind of hot spring comes up like a fountain. Hot spring comes up like a fountain. So, Tuesday, June 21st, today we saw a geyser. Underline with me. That's a kind of hot spring. About every 10 minutes, حوالي كل 10 دقايق, about every 10 minutes, hot water went shooting up from the ground like a huge fountain. مية سخنة جدا, نبع مية سخن بينطلق من الأرض shooting up وكأنه نافورة ضخمة. You remember when we talked about a word means huge? Yeah, good job. Gigantic. Very good. We will find it later. It was fantastic. The water underground is heated by the hot rocks. First it bubbles, then when it gets really hot, it suddenly goes up out 10 meters high. Whoosh! What incredible power! Underline with me this expression, we will need it later. What incredible power! What? Followed with adjective, incredible, followed with noun, power. ده هناخده وكأنه اسلوب تعجب زي في العربي لما انت كنت بتتعلم انك تاخد ما اجمل ما اعظم ما اروع. في الانجليش دي اسلوب اللي احنا بنعمله علشان نبدي عن دهشتنا او تعجبنا من حاجة. What a or what an or what followed with nothing, we will study it later, followed with adjective and noun. That took this picture. This is a real picture for the geyser. Fourth day with us will be Wednesday, June 22nd. Wednesday, June 22nd. We went to a really strange place today. We went to the top of a volcano. Then we went down inside. Wow, our friend entered a volcano this day. The ground was steaming. الأرض كانت مدخنة بتطلع دخان. And there were lots of hot springs. Sometimes these springs are piling hot, so you must be careful. أحيانا الينابيع دي بتبقى مولعة بتغلي, boiling بتغلي. So you must be careful. There were noisy pools of hot bubbling mud. Hot bubbling mud, what we talked about as mud boat. We will know it now. They are called mud boats. What weird sounds? أصوات غريبة طالعة. Weird, strange sounds. What weird sounds? اسلوب تعجب تاني اهو. What weird sounds? ايه اللي حصل؟ بيقول لنا a long time ago people believed in dragons and monsters. Believed in, كانوا بيصدقوا في وجود dragons التنانين and monsters الوحوش. They thought they lived in volcanoes وكانوا بيعتقدوا ان الحاجات دي بتعيش في البراكين. And now I know why. وانا دلوقتي فهمت ليه الناس كانت بتفكر بالطريقة دي. The noises sounded like terrifying monsters under our feet. الأصوات اللي طالعة من المية السخنة دي مع البابلينج مود بوتس ومع السخونة اللي موجودة عاملة أصوات رهيبة جدا وكأنها أصوات لوحوش ضخمة. What a peculiar place. Peculiar, another word, means strange, like the word worried. So we have worried and peculiar. Both are adjectives, means strange. And later we will talk about fifth day, Thursday, June 24th. Today was terrific fun. We went to a gigantic, very huge pool outside. A gigantic pool outside. يعني وكأنه حمام سباحة ضخم خارجي في مكان مكشوف. I thought the weather would be freezing cold. كان متهيألي إن المية هتبقى تلج متجمدة من البرودة. But it was like being in a warm bath. لكن كأنك بتاخد حمام دافي. It was brilliant. رائع جدا. A hot spring feeds the pool. في نبع مية سخن هو اللي بيغذي البول ده. A hot spring feeds the pool. It's like having a hot tap running all the time so the pool never goes cold. وكأن عندك حنفية بتنزل مية سخنة طول الوقت وده اللي بيخلي ان البول ده عمره ما بيبقى ساقع بيفضل طول الوقت دافي. I wanted to stay all day. كان نفسي أقضي هناك اليوم كله. Tomorrow Ari is taking us to a glacier. بكرة آري هياخدنا معاه لجليسر. This is the best holiday ever. دي أحسن أجازة قضيتها في حياتي. On page 24 in your book, I encourage you to answer questions in the page 24 and later I will follow you with the answers for it. Thanks everyone and good luck for you.